How's it going, Bolt fam? Welcome back to Settle the Scoreboard. For this video, I'm going to be talking about the Chargers' dominant performance and win over the Miami Dolphins, week 14 of the NFL season. But before we get into that, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow me on all my socials so we can interact and hype each other up over the rest of this Chargers season because this is crunch time. This is where things are going to get exciting. So make sure you follow me. We will interact and just hype each other up for the rest of the season. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first things first. First, we got to talk about our sweet Lord and Savior, baby boy, 3 ounces, 8 inches, baby boy, Justin Herbert. Yo, this guy is the real deal. Primetime Justin Herbert is a real thing, and I'm glad that everybody got to see it. And as much as it sucks to say, I'm glad it was against Tua, because those are the two guys that are constantly compared to one another, especially both coming out of the 2020 draft. Tua was taken before Herbert, and there was always just an unfair comparison, honestly, because if we had that pick, I'm sure we would have taken Tua. Tua was the better prospect. He was the better all-around player, honestly, and I'm glad we took Justin Herbert, honestly, and I still like Tua. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I like him as a player. Seems like a good dude. I'd probably go on a date with him if he asked me. But Justin Herbert is he's better all around. He's better at everything. And I'm glad that everybody got to see it. Everybody. Because everybody was watching that primetime game. A lot of people streaming it. There was a lot of people talking about it, tweeting about it. So I'm glad everybody got to see primetime Herbert. Yo, the throws that this guy makes are just unbelievable. There's not a single throw that he cannot make. He could throw the deep ball. He could throw uh, to Keenan Allen when he's got coverage right on him. He threw it right behind that guy's ear. Like, Keenan was covered, and Justin Herbert just threaded on a needle for him. And it's crazy to see that that's my quarterback. Like, I'm amazed, and I love that this guy's my quarterback. He's a different kind of player. I feel like he's like a mix between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Like, he's right. He's like a mix of both of them. Like, he can make the flashy play. He could throw the deep bomb. He could run, scramble. He has poise in the pocket. He's not doesn't get flustered by the pressure, and he's on another level. If I could choose any quarterback, I would still take Justin Herbert, and that's saying a lot because I really do like dudes like Lamar and Josh Allen, but Herbert is he's a different breed. So I'm honestly not the stats guy. I'm pretty much just like the Guy Fieri of sports content. Just wild, kind of unhinged, kind of sexy, kind of not, but you can't help it but to watch. That's me. So I don't really go based off of stats. I just kind of follow what I see with the old peepers. But Justin Herbert, for those of you that want the stats, threw for 367 yards with 1 touchdown. And honestly, I think it could have been more touchdowns. We'll kind of get into that more later, but yeah, he's, I think, 4th in most passing yards, and he's already breaking. He just continues to ball out and throw for hella yards and break hella records. That's my boy. Love you, baby boy. So next, I want to talk about the wide receivers. Yo, having your 3 main wide receivers back really makes a difference. Who would have thought, right? Everybody, literally everybody. We all knew this was what Justin Herbert was capable of. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the weapons to do so. But with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and Josh Palmer all in the lineup, this was that was a nail in the coffin for the Dolphins. Honestly, they could not cover all 3 wide receivers and cover and stop Austin Eckler and cover Gerald Everett. Like there was just way too many weapons for Justin Herbert to throw. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to the wide receivers. Mike Williams had such a big game. Yo, that catch, he looked like Michael Jordan out there. Like that's kind of reminded. It just reminded me of like a basketball play. Like he just found a way to secure the ball, keep his toes in, and that was that's what Big Mike does. That's what we know. That's the player that we know, and like I keep saying, and I'm gonna keep saying, I'm glad that everybody on primetime saw that because it was just amazing to watch. Keenan Allen had a hell of a game. He was more of the clutch player in this game. He didn't really go off for a crazy amount of yards or really did did a lot. Someone like compared to someone like Mike Williams or Austin Eckler, but he was probably the most clutch player in this game, well, aside from Justin Herbert. But Keenan just went out there and played the game that we needed him to play. Just go out there, be clutch, convert these third downs. And he did that and some. He really did have a good game. Like I said, not a crazy amount of catches or crazy stats, but he went out there and he did what we needed him to do. And this is the closest that we've come to having our full offense. We're still missing Rashawn Slater and our Trey Pipkins is still out, but having our wide receivers back, we still need Donald Parham to come back also. He might be coming back next week. So this offense is just going to look that much better because there was a time we all remember when this was a sluggish offense. We couldn't get anything going, and now it's starting to look. I'm just gonna. It's just all based off of one game, but that's all we need to go off of because we know that this is our team. We know what they're capable of. Joe Lombardi has to just not mess it up. We'll get into that later. Next, I have to comment and have to say I'm sorry, but I'm glad we did not score or really advance downfield after that roughing the passer call. Because even when I saw it, I was like, "What the hell was that?" That was such a bad call. And I'm not gonna give the other team props, but Jalen Phillips is a great pass rusher. I really liked him coming out of that draft, but yeah, that was a bad call. And honestly, I'm glad we didn't score because we'd never hear the end of that if we were able to go downfield and score on that call. So yeah, I had to say it. One of my favorite things about this game was that I think we finally saw the perfect balance of the offense and defense both complementing each other. Beginning of the third quarter, I was like, oh my God, here we go. It's another sluggish start for this offense. We're going to go out there and not do anything again. But we had a couple, I think we had like one or two, three and outs. And then the defense just kept putting us back on offense, kept putting us back in the game, and finally the offense picked it up. And that's the kind of football I like to see. Both offense and defense doing their part, carrying their weight, and the defense really put us back in the game. They were shutting down the Dolphins offense, and then once they put Justin Herbert and everybody back on the field, they were able to get that momentum back and pretty much just keep dominating because that's pretty much what this whole game was my biggest takeaway was just a flat out domination by the Chargers. Honestly, we could have won by so much more, but it was kind of the play calling, I think, that stopped us from that. But overall, the defense and the offense complemented each other so well. The DBs knew exactly where to be every time there was just like a big play on defense. Everybody just seemed to be in perfect position. Jasir Taylor, Michael Davis, Asante Samuel, even K9, who almost came down with the interception. Everybody was just in the perfect position at the perfect time. They honestly played the best defense I've seen this team play probably since the Jack Boys era. I know y'all remember that, but yeah, I thought this was a really good defensive performance. Kind of helped the offense pick up the momentum again. Just kept giving the ball back to Herbert, so that allowed that allowed the offense to then go and do their thing. Overall, I think Staley just called the perfect defensive game, the best he's called since I can remember. Everybody did their part, and the defense just knew how to beat that offense. I don't know if it was watching the Niners beat the Dolphins. I don't know what they watched or how they prepared for this, but yeah, keep doing that. That was a good defensive performance. So next, I want to get into some shout outs. My positive shout outs to Jasir Taylor, the rookie, playing in the slot, um, taking over for Bryce Callahan, who was injured for this game. And I just got to give this dude a shout out because he was always around the ball. Every time there was a big play, a pass broken up, he was always around the ball. I always spotted him. I was like, yo, there he is. I mean, he's the only guy with long dreads on our defense, so he was kind of easy to spot, and I just loved the way he was playing. And his tackling has definitely improved. I remember watching him in the preseason, didn't think it was that great, but he made some pretty good key stops here. He made some great tackles. His vision improved, and he's already fast. So I really liked having him in the slot in place of Callahan. So I just want to give a shout out to Jasir Taylor. Definitely going forward, I would not mind having him as a starter. Maybe not for this year if we get Bryce Callahan back, which he should be back. But I feel good about Jasir Taylor and his development going forward. So I really wanted to give the entire defense a shout out, but I wanted to be real specific with giving Jasir Taylor and Mike Davis the shout out because there was a lot of plays where Mike Davis had no help over the top. And that's just crazy for him to shadow somebody, especially Tyreek Hill, with no help over the top. That just really shows me that Brandon Staley really trusts him. That he's pretty locked down. He's not like a crazy interception machine, but his pass breakups and his ability to shadow a bunch of really good wide receivers is great. Like I just love that because there was a lot of people ready to write him off when we signed J.C. Jackson, and I was like, not so fast. Michael Davis is still fast. He still has the ability to play with a lot of good wide receivers. So I'm glad we didn't get rid of him. I'm glad that he's able to show that he really does bring a lot of potential to this team, and he brings a lot of just overall good playmaking ability because we really needed him for this game. He stepped up, and I'm glad that he's able to be out there and that Brandon Staley trusts him because he should. Next, I want to get into some shout ats, which is my duds. I'm gonna have to go with Joe Lombardi on this one because the play calling there's a lot left to be desired. Like there was a lot of good moments, obviously, but there was a lot of bad play calling here, especially in the red zone, which is where it counts the most. I really think that we could have put up more points on the board, but it just seems like every time we get into the red zone, there's just the most horrendous, egregious call. And the bubble screens, it hasn't worked, and it's not going to work. I think from now on we should just try and score from 50 yards, and we're good at that. Let's keep doing that because the red zone play calling is not good. Joe Lombardi still has not. I mean, I would say this was like a 50-50 game for him, but it's just that the bad play calls are just so highlighted because we could have scored. We could have done so much more, but it's just those bad play calling really stunted this team. We really could have put up more points on the board, and for one reason or another, the bad play calling just stopped us. And I'm still on the train that we should get rid of Joe Lombardi. I mean, one win isn't going to change that. Um, but for the most part, I feel like the offense just went out there and they kind of executed everything better than it should have been. You know, they kind of they make Joe Lombardi look better than he really is. But yeah, so my shout at my dud is gonna go to Joe Lombardi. My next shout at is gonna go to the O line. The O line is just not good. It has not been fixed. I mean, I know we're missing Rashawn Slater and Trey Pipkins, but Foster Sorrell and even Matt Filer just didn't have a good game. I mean, even Jamari Sawyer, who I really like, who was having a great first couple of games for his rookie year, kind of came down a little bit, came back down to earth, and he's still not. I wouldn't say he's a bad player. And honestly, the Dolphins' defensive line is really, really good. I do have a lot of respect for that defensive line, but our O line just it looks so lost. It looks bad. They were letting everybody through, and I think going forward, we should every play should just be Justin Herbert rolling out because he's gonna get killed behind this O line. And it's frustrating because we really should have addressed it. If not in the off season, at least at the trade deadline, because we knew what we had. We knew this was a bad O line, so it's frustrating to see that there was nothing done to for this O line get any better, and we're just kind of relying on Joe Lombardi to call a good game, which is kind of impossible to call a good game 100% of the time where Justin Herbert has all the protection that he needs. Even if that's everybody chipping for him, yeah, there's just the O line is not good, and Joe Lombardi's not doing any favors by the play calling. So yeah, we Justin Herbert needs to make rolling out every game kind of thing because I do not want to see him get hit anymore. Every time he takes a hit, anything, like my heart just sinks to the floor, and I just want to jump through the TV and hold him and kiss his forehead, tell him everything's gonna be all right, because everything's gonna be all right. So my final takeaway, honestly, I'm just gonna say that this team is a serious threat. If they can maintain this level of play on defense and offense, and don't make any more bad play calling decisions on either side, we're a serious threat. This team could definitely make a deep push into the playoff, especially with getting Rashawn Slater back, getting Joey Bosa back, Donald Parham. We're getting healthy at the perfect time. So all we got to do is just call near perfect games, which is a lot to ask for. But I think watching this game really shows that it can be done. So I really think that this team is a serious threat. We can make a deep playoff push, and I hope that we get the Chiefs. We probably won't, obviously, probably not. But if we get the Chiefs in the first round and knock them out, ooh, that'll be so sweet. I would love that. But yeah, those are my final takeaways. We're a serious threat in the playoffs if we make it there. We just got to pray on the Patriots and the Jets' downfall, which probably isn't going to be too hard, seeing as how they've been playing. So, yeah, that's it for me, Bolt fam. This is Settle the Scoreboard. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I appreciate it. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on everything. Keep interacting with me. Let's keep hyping each other up. The season is just getting going. Bolt up. See you on the next one.